Christmas is round the corner and Christmas and fruitcake go hand in hand. Keeping that in mind, I have for you a beautiful, moist and delicious fruitcake perfect for this season. So let's get started with the cake. Into this bowl, I'm going to put in about 500 grams, 3/4 of a cup of plain flour. Into the flour, I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Sieve this into the bowl. This will make sure that there are no lumps and the flour is uniform. I'm going to keep the flour aside for a bit and get started with the wet ingredients. Into the bowl of my hand mixer, I'm going to put in 1 cup 250 ml hot water. And into the water, I'm going to put in 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons, about 250 grams of granulated white sugar. 1 cup plus 2 tablespoons, 250 grams of granulated brown sugar. I'm going to mix this together until the sugar almost dissolves into the water. After the sugar almost dissolves into the water, you need to quickly stir in 1 cup of yogurt, 1 cup 250 ml oil. I like to use rice bran oil for the beautiful flavor it gives eggless cakes, but you could use any neutral flavored vegetable oil. Time to mix in the dry ingredients. I'm going to put in the sifted flour into the wet ingredients. This needs to be mixed together until the batter is smooth and there are no lumps. The batter is smooth and luscious. And into this batter, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of vanilla extract and 3/4 teaspoon of nutmeg powder, 3/4 teaspoon cinnamon powder. I have about 2 cups of chopped fruits and nuts over here and I'm going to put it into the bowl. Some chopped raisins, apricots, glazed cherries, dates, some cashews, figs, walnuts, and some cranberries. This needs to be mixed together again. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of hot water into the batter and this will make the cake very moist. The batter is now ready to go into my pan. I have a lightly greased and dusted bundt pan over here. If you don't have a bundt pan, you can use 2 8-inch or 9-inch round cake pans. I'm going to pour the batter into the pan. This pan is now ready to go into my oven and my oven has been heating at about 180 degrees centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to put this into my oven for about 15 minutes, and after that I'm going to turn down the temperature to 150 degrees centigrade or 300 degrees Fahrenheit and bake it for about 60 to 65 minutes or until a skewer comes clean. The cake has completely cooled down and I'm going to prepare a simple glaze to top the cake. This is about 1 cup of icing sugar or confectioner's sugar, and into the sugar I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of soft butter, 2 tablespoons of milk, half a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and then I'm just going to mix all this up together. My glaze is done, and now is the exciting part. I'm going to spoon this glaze all over the cake. If you have kids, they will love doing this. Just give them the spoon and ask them to make beautiful designs by swirling the glaze all over the cake. And to give this a finishing touch and to beautify things further, I'm going to top the cake with some cut fruits. I'm using glazed cherries, dried apricots, and flaked almonds. And this looks outstanding. I love to make this cake and share it with my friends and family during Christmas time. Go ahead and make this cake and spread the magic of Christmas.
Today we are going to make fresh strawberry cake with cream cheese frosting. For this we need 100 grams of regular flour, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, half teaspoon of baking powder. Now sift the 3 together. Okay. Next we need 100 grams of condensed milk. Okay. Then 60 ml of melted butter. Then we add 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. Now mix it together. Okay. Next, now we're going to add 45 ml of milk. Next, I'm going to mix the dry ingredients in 2 batches. Okay. Now we add the second batch. Here we can add 2 tablespoons of milk to make it pouring consistency. Okay, cool. Now we are done with this. Now I have this lightly buttered and floured 6x8 rectangular tin for baking. You can also use a circular half kilo tin, that is also okay. I'm going to just scrape this entire batter. Now this will go for baking at 170 degrees Celsius for around 15 minutes. Till then, you guys are not going to have the strawberries. Now it's time to make our strawberry jam. Did someone eat the strawberries? Anyways, we'll continue as is. Now for this we require 1 cup of chopped strawberries. I'm going to add it to our saucepan. Now I'm going to add to this 1/4 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to mix this two together till the sugar completely melts. So this will take around 5 minutes because I'm going to let the strawberry cook for a little bit in the sugar. And look at this. The strawberries are nicely cooked in its own juices and sugar. Okay, cool. Now I'm gonna pour this in another bowl. Okay. Now I'm gonna let it cool down for a bit on the side, and I'm gonna check on my cake now. Okay, so our cake is baked. I'm going to demold it while it is still little hot. And I'm just going to turn it. So I'm going to keep the sponge and the jam aside for cooling while we make our cream cheese frosting. So here I have 100 grams of unsalted butter and 150 grams of cream cheese. I'm gonna just mix the two together. Now I'm going to add half a cup of icing sugar. I'm going to add another half cup of icing sugar. Okay, so we are done with our cream cheese frosting, and I'm going to add the strawberry jam to this. So our cream cheese frosting with the strawberry jam is ready. Now it's time to assemble the cake. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the top because it ends up being a little thick skin, which I don't like in my cake if it comes out right. I'm done with this, and now I'm just going to cut it in the center. Okay. I'm going to take our frosting. Then I'm going to top this manner, and I'm going to put a thin layer on top. This will go in the fridge for around half an hour to set, and then it's ready to be digged in. I'm ready to dig into the entire cake, but I'm not going to have it alone. I'm going to share it with my entire team that's been trying to steal the strawberries from me since morning. Well, till we finish off with this cake, you guys, if you like the video, hit like, mention in the comments below, and do not forget to subscribe to the channel. See you next time.
What is Christmas without that glorious cake adorning your dinner table? And the beauty of this cake is anyone can make it, whether you bake, have just started out, or you don't. This is the no-bake biscuit cake. I have 250 grams of bitter chocolate chopped up here, and to that I'm going to add half a cup of cream, and I'm going to microwave this for 40 to 50 seconds. The chocolate is melted, and now I'm going to add some butter. Give this a whisk. Keep this aside to cool. I have some digestive biscuits over here. as well as some chocolate cream biscuits, and I'm going to break them in a bowl. Just crumble them into small pieces. And now I'm going to add some nuts and dry fruits. I have some roasted almonds that I've chopped, also some roasted walnuts, dry figs, and some cranberries. And now I'm going to add the melted chocolate and cream. Give this a mix. And now I'm going to set this. So for that I have a ring mold, or you can take any tin and line it with butter paper as well. Just spread the mixture in it. Just press on it properly and make sure all the gaps are filled up. And now this goes in the refrigerator to set for 1 hour. After 1 hour, I'm just going to make a thin layer of the chocolate ganache. So for that I've melted some cream and chocolate, and I'm going to give it a whisk. And let this cool down for around 10 to 15 minutes. Just pour it on top. And now this goes in the refrigerator to set for another hour. The cake is set nicely and now it's ready to come out of the ring. So I'm going to take a knife, just run the knife through. And now just remove the cake. I'm going to garnish it with a little bit of pistachios. Just warm this cake for 10 seconds in the microwave before serving. So you have a nice, moist, gooey biscuit cake. So there you go. The Christmas cake, all sinful and chocolatey, ready to be digged into. With this, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a happy, joyous, festive season ahead.
Melting moments are cookies that literally melt in your mouth, and I always make them for my son Hari's birthday parties. Melting moments are perfect eggless cookies, and they're very easy to make. I'm going to start off with 100 grams 3/4 cup of plain flour. Next, I'm going to put in 30 grams to about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch or corn flour. Now I'm going to sieve this together into this bowl. This is done. Let's keep this aside for a while. In another bowl, I'm going to put in 100 grams, which is about half a cup of soft butter. I'm also going to put in half a cup, 60 grams of icing sugar or confectioner's sugar. Now you need to mix this together until it is smooth and creamy. If you don't have a stand mixer, you can always do this with a hand blender. This looks smooth and luscious and ready to take in the flour. I'm going to dip in the flour in the corn flour mixture. Corn flour or cornstarch gives a light texture to the cookies. Add a few drops of pure vanilla extract. And these cookies made with cardamom powder are perfect with your afternoon drink. If you find that your cookie dough is stiff, you can always add a few drops of milk. You need to make sure that your cookie dough is not loose, or else your cookies will melt in the oven. Now that the cookie dough is ready, you have two options. You can put the cookie dough in a piping bag fitted with a star nozzle, or use a cookie press. My son Hari loves different shapes of cookies, and if you have children, it definitely helps to have a cookie press. Now I'm going to fill this dough into my cookie press. And you need not worry if you don't have a cookie press or an icing nozzle. All you need to do is make small balls out of the cookie dough and then bake them in the oven. My oven is heating at about 180 degrees centigrade, 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm going to put this tray into my oven and bake these cookies. The baking time depends on the size of your cookies. If you've used an icing nozzle, then these should take about 8 minutes to bake, and if your cookies are a little larger, then they should get done in about 10 to 12 minutes. The cookies are lightly golden brown at the edges, and these beauties are done. This is homemade, and that is what makes it so special. Enjoy your melting moments and stay tuned to Divine Taste for more such recipes.
Today we are making no-bake blueberry cheesecake. So let's start with 200 grams of digestive biscuits. You can take any of your choice. It shouldn't be too salty, it shouldn't be too sweet. So I'm going to blitz it just a bit because I want fine crumbs. I do not want like a fine powder, but you know there are those big crumbs as well in it. (120 ml of melted butter. I prefer unsalted one because generally biscuits do have a little bit of salt in it and a little bit of sugar. It kind of balances out when the butter doesn't have salt in it. Now just mix it. You don't have to make a dough out of it. It will be a little crumbly, and that's good. I like that texture actually. So our biscuit base is ready. Now let's prep for the mold. What I'm doing is I'm making individual cheesecakes. So in the market we get these thick plastic strips which you can just fold like this and just place them. Now if you do not get these strips, do not deprive yourself of making this cheesecake. What you can do is you can make this in a loose bottom pan as well. That's it. Alright, now let's put 1 spoon in each. Okay, take anything that is flat and you can use to just push it down. Press it tightly as possible. Done. Our biscuit base is in the mold. We can keep it in the fridge just for a while we prep for the cheesecake filling. So for the filling, let's start with 350 grams of melted white chocolate. To that add 100 ml of melted unsalted butter. Now give this a gentle whisk. Alright, next we need 200 ml of whipped cream. Alright, next we need 350 grams of cream cheese. Okay, we'll just little bit soften it. It needs to be at the room temperature. Alright. we add around 100 grams of icing sugar. It's already sifted. At this point, the cream cheese will be quite soft. Okay. Next, we add the white chocolate mix in this. Alright. Take a spatula and just fold it. Now here is the best part. We are adding the blueberries. I'm using blueberry pie filling with 70%, which means it has 70% fruits in it. And it's around 100 grams I'm adding in this. Alright, now just mix. Once when we are done with this, fold in the whipped cream. So my cream cheese filling is ready with blueberry, lots of white chocolate and cream cheese. My molds are ready out of the fridge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a piping bag for this. And just start filling it in. So my tray is ready with the cheesecake filling. It will go in the fridge for around 3 to 4 hours minimum for it to set properly. So our cheesecake is all set and I'm all ready to dig in. But hold on a second, which is your favorite cheesecake? Do let me know in the comments below. Until next time, bye-bye.
Today I bring to you one of my most favorite chocolate recipes. It is a chocolate lava cake. Gooey, soft-centered chocolate lava cake. So let's first begin with heating the milk. I'm going to heat the milk for a little while. In the interim, what I've been doing here is I have some dark chocolate which I have chopped very roughly. So this goes in a large bowl. Now that the milk has heated up, this goes straight into the chopped chocolate, giving it a light mix so that the chocolate kind of starts melting. And at this stage, I'm going to start adding the rest of the ingredients. So I have some yogurt. I'm going to add that. Next goes in some melted butter. And after the melted butter, I'm going to just whisk it a little so that everything kind of evenly starts mixing together. Now, as soon as this is done, goes in all the dry ingredients, each at a time. So first is the baking powder, baking soda, caster sugar, refined flour, and cocoa powder. I'm going to give all of this a nice mix. Mix it absolutely well. Make sure there are no lumps in this mixture. And there we have this lovely lava cake getting ready. So now that the mixture has evenly mixed and has become nice and smooth, it's become nice and velvety, I start greasing the ramekins. So I have these bake-proof ramekins. I'm just adding like a dab of oil. So I'm just going to now run a brush through, grease it absolutely well so that the lava cake can be demolded with ease. So here this goes similarly. So I'm taking like a scoopful of this mixture and this goes in the ramekin. Now that these ramekins are filled and ready, now is the time to start baking it. So 180 degrees, exactly 7 minutes. Now that the chocolate lava cake is baked and ready, we shall rest it for 5 to 7 minutes and then we start demolding. Now that this is relatively cooled, let's start demolding this. So I'm just running a knife around this. And there you have this beautiful lava cake ready. Now I'm going to garnish this with some rose petals and some mint leaves. Now that the smooth, silken, velvety and gooey chocolate lava cake is ready, do try it at home and wait for what next the Bombay chef gets into your kitchen.
Cupcakes are a must for any party, and if you're looking for something delicious for your next house party, this is the recipe for you. So for all you chocoholics out there, let's bake some moist chocolate cupcakes. So let's start with weighing our dry ingredients. We need 100 grams of flour, all purpose, half teaspoon of baking soda, and 3 whole tablespoons of cocoa powder. Just sift it all together. We just take a whisk and mix it all together. We need 100 grams of sugar. You can use caster sugar, you can use granulated sugar, but really fine one. You can just mix it up in a mixer and give it a whisk. Alright, now next we go for the wet ingredients. We need 120 ml of regular milk, room temperature. Next we need 60 ml of oil, vegetable oil, something which doesn't have its own flavor, which is neutral so that it doesn't overpower when the cakes are out. Alright, and finally half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So whisk it all together. Alright, next, now we add the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients in 2 batches. And just give it a nice stir. Now we add the second batch. Finally started raining out here and the weather is so beautiful. Okay, so the batter will be of pouring consistency. I'll put a handful of chocolate chunks, rather chocolate chips in this. Some for the cupcakes, few for me, and few for the camera. Okay, next we just give it a light stir. Basically we want the chocolate chips to get mixed with the batter well. Okay, done. So I'm going to pour it into this jug. You can also use an ice cream scooper for this, but I find the jug to be much more easier for me. Next, you just start pouring in the 9 cupcake molds. I just can't wait for these cakes to get baked. Now these cakes will go for baking at 175 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes. So our cupcakes are ready. They are quite hot right now, but I'm too tempted to taste them. They are so soft. Okay, so I'm gonna just try. Look at that. This is the gooey chocolate, the chocolate chunks, and look at this. Okay. We can make an entire video of me eating all of them. But okay, let's finish it off with some really good buttercream. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull them off slowly and keep it on my board just to cool it off. Okay, so I have 150 grams of soft unsalted butter. It's very important to have unsalted butter. And I have here around 250 grams of icing sugar with around 50 grams of cocoa powder. You need to whip this for around 2 to 5 minutes till it is soft enough and it gets a little fluffy as well. Alright. I'm adding cocoa powder and icing sugar in batches. Okay, this is my first batch. Now just stir it lightly, otherwise the cocoa powder and the icing sugar will just come flat on your face. This is my second batch. Alright, cool. So I'm using this open star nozzle. You can use any. Okay, so I'm putting this. Good enough. Some chocolate shavings on top. Our deliciously moist cupcakes are ready. You have to try them at home. Click some pictures and post them on Instagram, #BeatBatterBake, and share your experience in the comment section below.
Today I have for you a spectacular black forest cake that is sure to make every occasion a celebration. And I'm pleased to show you my adaptation of this famous cake from Germany. The first thing that you always have to do before you begin baking a cake is to prepare the cake tin. I have two 8-inch pans over here, and this has been greased with melted butter, and the base has been lined with baking parchment or butter paper. Let's start by bringing the dry ingredients together. This is about 200 grams, 1.5 cups of plain flour, and I'm going to put this into my sieve. 50 grams, 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. About 4 tablespoons, 30 grams of powdered sugar. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And a teaspoon of baking soda or soda bicarbonate. Let's sieve this together. Into the dry ingredients, I'm going to be adding in some wet ingredients. So in goes 1 can of condensed milk. This is about 150 ml, a little less than 3/4 of a cup of melted butter. 1 cup 250 ml water. And a tablespoon of vanilla extract. Before I turn on the hand blender, I'm just going to move this around so that the flour doesn't fly all over. I think we are good to go. Just 2 or 3 minutes should be enough. Make sure you do not overbeat the batter, as this will lead to a less softer cake. As a final step to finishing the cake batter, I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of hot water, and this will help to make the cake very soft. And then I just need to mix it all up together. That's it. I'm going to divide the batter and try to distribute them equally into these two pans over here. If you have only one pan, then you can make a single cake and then slice it up later. My oven has been heating at about 150 degrees centigrade, and I'm going to put these two pans into my oven and bake for about 25 to 30 minutes. Let's put this into the oven. While the cakes bake in the oven, let's prepare some cherry syrup. To make this, I'm going to put in about 1 cup of pitted cherries into this pan. About 4 to 5 tablespoons of sugar and 175 ml 3/4 of a cup of water. Let's cook all this together. You need to keep stirring this until the sugar melts. If your cherries are soft, then boil them in the sugar syrup for about 2 to 3 minutes. And if your cherries are firm, then you need to cook it for a little longer until the cherries turn soft. The cherry syrup is cooked, and I'm going to allow the cherry syrup to cool down. And while it cools, let me get the cakes out of the oven and whip some cream for the cake. The cakes are out of the oven, and let us check if they are done. I'm going to insert a skewer into the center of the cake. The cake is perfectly cooked. Let's check the other cake as well. And this one is also perfectly baked. The cakes need to cool in the tin for about 3 to 4 minutes, and then you need to invert the cake onto a rack and allow them to cool down nicely. Time to whip the cream. This bowl and the beater has been chilling in my freezer, and I'm going to be whipping the cream now. You would need about 2 to 3 cups of cream. Whipping cream is available in specialty stores, and if you're a vegan, you can use soy cream, which is easily available these days. I'm going to beat this cream until soft peaks form. Let us check, and the soft peaks have already formed. I'm going to use some of this cream to fill the center of the cake, and I'm going to beat the rest of the cream into stiff peaks to ice the cake. Before we proceed with icing the cake, let's strain the cherry syrup. And now is the best part. Time to ice the cake. I'm going to take 1/2 of the cake and place it over a turntable. And then I'm going to prick the cake all over. This helps to absorb the syrup into the cake. I'm going to pour some syrup into the cake. This will not only moisten the cake but also add a lot of flavor and depth to the finished dessert. I'm going to put some softly whipped cream and spread it over the top of the cake. Okay. Over the cream, I'm going to put in the reserved cherries. I'm going to prick this cake as well, and this will make it easier for the cherry syrup to seep into the cake. I'm going to level both the cakes by pressing the sides with a palette knife while rotating the table at the same time. The next step is to whip the remaining cream into stiff peaks, but you need to make sure that your bowl is cold. And it's done. I'm going to put this beautifully whipped cream over the cake. Let's remove the excess cream by rotating the table. The Black Forest cake is pretty forgiving when it comes to icing the cake, and it's quite easy to ice it. I'm not bothered about giving a smooth finish to the cake since I'm going to be covering it up with some chocolate curls. Let me show you how to make a chocolate curl. To make chocolate curls, you need to take a bar of cooking chocolate and a peeler and slice it up like this. If your chocolate starts to melt like how mine is right now, you need to put it in the refrigerator, and that way it gives you nice curls. I've already made some chocolate curls. Let me get them in here. I'm going to cover the sides of the cake with some chocolate curls. I'm going to pipe some pretty flowers over the edges of the cake. And now for some chocolate curls in the center of the cake. And the cherry on the cake is literally the cherry on the cake. This cake was a star attraction at my husband's birthday party. The combination of cherries and chocolate create magic in this cake. Do make it and let me know how you liked it, and don't forget to subscribe to Rajshri Food.
I have a baker's heart and a good working oven. So why not put together a box of fudgy chocolatey cookies? Yum! Alright, so let's get on with it. Now here, we're gonna start with butter. I prefer unsalted butter. Now this is around 100 grams of butter. Nice soft room temperature. And then some caster sugar. Around 20 grams. And around 60 grams of brown sugar. And then a whisk. Take it together. Get set, go. Start whisking. Good amount of aeration. Done with it. Yes, this is good. Nice and soft. Okay, now next what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some condensed milk. Now we need some 50 grams of condensed milk in this. Now this is the part that I love actually. This. So I'm done with this. Now I'll be adding some melted chocolate. Alright, another 50 grams of melted chocolate. Use a nice dark chocolate. Yum. Back to stirring. Just a light stir because you want the chocolate and your butter batter to be mixed. That's it. Alright, so next we have to put maida, 100 grams of flour, all-purpose flour, around 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, then 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, and just sieve it. And then whisk it all together. Take a spatula and just fold it all together. It's a nice soft dough consistency. There. Basic mixing. Yes. Once this is done, putting some walnuts in this. It's up to you how much you want to add. I'm adding around 70 grams of those. So basically this is your regular dark chocolate. I got a slab of it. I kept it out for around 7-8 hours. It became nice and soft, like a hard clay consistency, so that I could just chop it off. All we have to do is just mix it all together. I'm sorted out. So there we are done with the dough. Now what I'm going to do is I'll keep it in the fridge for a couple of hours. That's it. Into the fridge. So the cookie dough is ready, nice and chilled in the fridge. Now it's ready to go in the oven. Now all you have to do is take this and start placing them . So they are ready to go in the oven at 175 degrees for 10 minutes. That's it. Now cookies are ready. Look at them. Let your cookies cool down for a bit and that's it. If you like the video, don't forget to share, comment and subscribe to the channel. Bye once again.
The heavenly smell of chocolate. Don't you guys ever have a craving for a simple chocolate cake? A cake with no drama, no icing, no nothing. Well, I certainly do. And today I have one such recipe for you that is easy to put together and awesome in taste. I'm Upasna on Beat Batter Bake and it's time to get cracking. Come on. For this recipe, you will need 250 ml of milk. In case you're avoiding milk or just don't like the flavor of it, you can easily replace it with 250 ml of water. In that goes 1 teaspoon of vinegar and 1 teaspoon of vanilla from a cute little box right into the milk. That is, we have mixed all our wet ingredients together and kept it aside. Now we move on to the dry ingredients. For this we will need 1.5 cups of maida, that is around 195 grams. 25 grams of good quality cocoa powder, that is 4 tablespoons. 1 teaspoon of baking powder. Half teaspoon of baking soda. Now that we have all our dry ingredients together, let's sieve it. By sieving it, we are also aerating our dry ingredients and mixing all of them together very well. All our dry ingredients are mixed thoroughly. Now for step 3. Here we have 80 grams of butter, that is around 3/4 cup. You put it in a bowl. Always leave your butter out on the counter at least 1 hour before you start baking. Here we have 200 grams of sugar, that is 1 cup. We put the sugar in the butter and now all we have to do is mix it together. Always scrape the sides of your bowl. Here we have used caster sugar. If you're using plain sugar that you have in your house, I would suggest mix it up a bit in your mixie. Give it 1 or 2 pulses so that it's a finer grain, finer sugar. Now we put half the quantity of milk and half our chocolate mixture. And whisk it. Make sure there are no lumps in your batter. Now keep adding this milk and chocolate mixture till you're out of it. There. I'm adding it in 3 parts so that I can get rid of all the possible lumps that are there in the batter. Now once you've taken out all the lumps from this, rest of the milk and dry mixture. Now let's give it a good mix. Here, always give a quick scrape down so that all the dry and wet ingredients are mixed together. So here our batter is lump-free, nice and smooth and chocolatey. Preheat your oven at 170 degrees. Now we are going to transfer this chocolatey batter in a 8 by 8 inch square tin. Now a quick tip to measure your pan size. Always measure from the inside edge to the outside edge, not from the outsides. Well, I have a prepared baking tin ready. I have buttered it, dusted it with flour and put a parchment paper at the bottom. Now our batter goes in. To get a flat surface on your cakes, always push the middle of your batter towards the outside edges. This will prevent the dome formation. Nice. Tap your tin gently 2 times on your bench. Now let's put this in a preheated oven. We have to bake this cake for 30 to 35 minutes, but please start checking after 30 minutes because every oven is different. My kitchen is smelling like a chocolate heaven. Now let's pray to all our baking gods and go and check if our cake is done or not. Come on. My cake is smelling awesome. Now let's check whether it's done or not. For that, I'm going to take a skewer, just poke it in the middle, and the skewer should come out clean. That means our cake is done. Now let's get the cake out of the mold and just invert it this way. Now lift your mold up. Now carefully remove the parchment paper. We have a perfect crumb. It is moist and it's springy. Also, a way to check whether your cake is done or not is to press it and it should bounce back. Now you can pour chocolate ganache over it, dust it with icing sugar or cocoa powder and serve it with some fresh fruits. Well, the choice is all yours. You can go wild. If you liked the video, then please share it and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.
If you're looking to bake something to impress someone, this is the cake for you. Classic pineapple upside down cake with a coconut twist. So let's start with, I'm using this 1 kilo cake pan. I have very lightly buttered it. I'm gonna add 2 tablespoons of melted butter over here. Next we add half a cup of brown sugar. Okay, what this is going to do is it will caramelize the pineapples that I'll be putting or rather layering on top of this, and it will give a nice flavor as well with good moisture. Now just spread it on the sides, on the bottom of the pan. Here I'm using canned pineapples. You can also use fresh pineapples and that is fine. I have some bits and pieces of pineapple which I'll place over here. So done. Okay, next we'll start weighing our dry ingredients. We need 170 grams of regular all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. Next, sift it together. Done. Keep this aside. Now, next we go for the wet ingredients. We'll take 90 ml of melted butter, 200 grams of condensed milk, here we are looking for both butter and condensed milk to mix well together. Now back to the weighing scale. Just a little bit of vanilla essence to taste, and we will add 180 ml of coconut milk. Put aside and again give it a really good whisk. Coconut milk gives a good richness, it has a subtle coconut taste to it. But if you do not have coconut milk, you can add regular milk as well. That is alright. Okay. Now we will add the dry ingredients with the wet ingredients in 2 batches. Now once the batter is properly mixed, let's weigh in our desiccated coconut. We need around 50 grams of this unsweetened desiccated coconut. Desiccated coconut will absorb a lot of moisture from the batter and just fold it in. Okay. Once the batter is well mixed, we will spoon it into the cake tin. Alright, with your spatula, just even out the top. Now this will go for baking at 160 degrees for 30 minutes. So our cake is ready and just out of the oven. Let it cool down for only 10 minutes. We need to demold it while it is little warm. Alright, now you need another plate to demold this. And just flip it over. Let's finish this with some cherry on the top. So the cake is quite moist from the syrup of the caramel. Okay. It has a sweet fruitiness from the pineapples and also the subtle coconut in every bite. You have to try this pineapple upside down cake. Click a picture, put it on Instagram, #BeatBatterBake. And don't forget to share the video and subscribe to the channel.
Today, I have for you a very special cheesecake that I had made for my husband's birthday many years ago. My chocolate mascarpone cheesecake also happens to be one of my most popular recipes on the web. I'm going to start by preparing the crust for the cheesecake. I need about 125 grams, about 8 to 10 digestive biscuits, and crush them with the help of my rolling pin. You could also process these biscuits into a powder in a food processor. This is done. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of cocoa powder into the biscuit powder. I'm going to mix it up. Then I'm going to put in a quarter cup, about 50 to 60 grams of butter at room temperature. I'm going to mix the butter into the biscuit crumbs. I'm going to press this buttery biscuit mixture into the base of an 8-inch round springform pan. And if you don't have a springform pan, use any pan with a detachable base. I'm going to put this pan inside my refrigerator to chill for about 30 minutes. Now that the crust is taken care of, let's proceed with making the filling. I'm going to put in about 2 cups 500 grams of mascarpone cheese, 200 grams of hung yogurt, the next thing I'm going to add is about 160 grams, 1 cup of icing sugar. I'm going to mix this all up together until it is smooth and creamy. I'm using a stand mixer since I like my hands free, but you could also do this with a hand blender. Time to add in the vanilla extract. I'm going to put in a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. The cheese mixture is well blended and I'm going to be melting some chocolate. 250 grams of chopped chocolate. You could also use chocolate chips. And for some smoothness, I'm also going to be putting in 2 tablespoons of butter. All you need to do now is mix this up together until the chocolate melts. The chocolate is melted and I'm going to allow it to cool down a bit before I put it into the cheese mixture. I'm going to put the melted chocolate into the cheese mixture. Then this needs to be mixed together. And look at how beautifully the chocolate has transformed the creamy cheese mixture with its chocolatey properties. I'm going to keep this aside for a bit and then move on to the next step, which is melting some china grass. I have about 5 grams of china grass or agar-agar flakes over here. I've already soaked 5 grams of agar-agar flakes in 1 cup 250 ml of water. I'm going to put this on low heat, stirring all the while until the china grass melts completely. Once the agar-agar melts completely, you need to stir it over a strainer into the cheese chocolate mixture, stirring the cheese mixture all the while. You need to mix this up together very briskly and quickly. It is important to quickly mix this up together as the agar-agar sets very fast. The crust of the cheesecake is set and ready, and now I'm going to pour the chocolate cheese mixture over the prepared crust. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator to chill for about 3 to 4 hours. And to make this look gorgeous, I'm going to grate some white chocolate over the cheesecake. You could give this your own special touch by grating some dark chocolate, sprinkling some cocoa powder, cherries, fruits, whatever it is that floats the boat for you. It's time to unravel the cheesecake. Always a moment of nervousness for me. It looks beautiful. A homemade cheesecake with chocolate in it. You can't go wrong with that, can you?
Everyone should have a go-to chocolate cake, and today we are making just that. A moist, decadent cake with a glossy chocolate ganache. So I have here 450 grams of dark chocolate and we are making a chocolate ganache to which I'll be adding around 50 grams of unsalted butter. And here I have 300 ml of heavy cream which I'll bring it to a boil. And I'm just going to pour it on this chocolate. Now the heat from the cream will melt the chocolate and the butter together. Now we'll be keeping it aside just for a few minutes while we prep for our batter. We need 120 grams, that is 1 cup of flour. Then we need 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half teaspoon of baking soda. Now let's sift it all together. Okay. Next, let's weigh in our wet ingredients. Here I have unsalted soft butter around 80 grams and around 60 grams of castor sugar. Now let's cream the two together. Alright. Next, we'll weigh our condensed milk into this. We need 150 grams. We then cream it both together. There, we are done. Now we add 100 ml of room temperature milk. You can keep little aside, little extra in case later on you want to adjust the consistency of the batter. Now use a spatula and just mix it. Next we add the dry ingredients in 2 batches. Okay. And just fold it in very gently. Since we have creamed the butter, sugar and condensed milk, we do not want to lose the aeration. Now we add the second batch. So we are done folding, the batter is ready. So I have this lightly buttered 8-inch round tin and I'll be scraping the batter into this and just lightly smoothen out the surface. Now give this a light tap. It will go for baking at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. So the cake is getting baked and it's time to concentrate on our ganache. It's been sitting aside for around 10 minutes. Give it a nice stir. So our ganache is ready. I'm going to keep it aside for a while and I'll just go check out on the cake. So our cake is done and it is really nice and spongy. Wow. Smoothen out the sides and I'm using these half kilo cake boards. And now we're gonna demold it. Aha! Okay, now flip it again. So I'm going to keep this aside for a while to cool down completely. So our cake is nicely cooled down. Let's cut the cake horizontally in 2. Try and take the center of the cake. Aha, there, we have it. Now take this and just put it on top of this. This is the consistency I'm looking at. Now if you want more ganache in the center, you can add more. You want to add less, it's your choice. Now I'm going to put the second layer, just lift this up. I'm going to put it upside down. Now if at this point, if you feel that the ganache or the cake has become a little soft, you can just keep it in the fridge for a few minutes till you feel you can handle it again. And we are done. The cake is looking so delicious that I have no words to express. But if you do like the video, hit like, share the video and subscribe to the channel. Till then, happy baking!
Today I'm going to be using one of my favorite spices, saffron, to make eggless saffron cookies laced with pistachios. Apart from saffron, these exotic cookies are infused with the goodness of cardamom and nutmeg. So let's see how to make them. Take a few strands of saffron, about 1/4 teaspoon of saffron strands, and I'm going to put them in here. About 2 teaspoons of warm milk. Just going to mix it up a little. Let's keep this aside for a bit and come back to it later. I'm going to put in the seeds of 6 cardamom pods. And then let's grate some nutmeg. About 1/4 of a nutmeg should do. I'm going to grind these spices to a fine powder, and this way they will give an aromatic flavor to the cookies. This is done. Let's come back to the saffron. I'm going to crush these strands into a smooth paste. And this will reveal its gorgeous, vibrant color. Undoubtedly, saffron is the star of this recipe, and just a few strands will exude all their earthy goodness into the cookies. Okay, this is done. And now is the time to get all the ingredients together. I'm going to put in 100 grams, which is about 1/2 cup of ghee. And into the ghee, I'm going to put in 100 grams, about 1/2 cup plus 2 tablespoons of castor sugar or powdered sugar. Let's mix this up together. You need to mix this together until there are no lumps. Next, I'm going to tip in the saffron mixture. The powdered spices. Mix it all up together. About 200 grams, 1.5 cups of plain flour. Mix it up again. I'm going to be using my hands to bring the dough together. If you find that the dough is not coming together, you can use a few drops of milk to bind the dough. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of milk. Now that the dough has come together, I'm going to transfer the dough to a flat surface. I'm going to divide the dough into 2 halves. I'm going to take 1/2 of the dough and roll it into a 6-inch circle. Now is the most exciting part. I'm going to put 1/2 of the crushed pistachios all over the dough. I'm going to roll this lightly so that the pistachios stick to the surface of the dough. And then I'm going to take a round cookie cutter . This dough is a little crumbly, so you need to be careful while lifting the cookie and placing it on the tray. I'm going to repeat the same process with the other half of the dough as well. This tray is ready to go into the oven. My oven has been preheating at about 160 degrees centigrade and bake for about 15 to 20 minutes or until the cookies are lightly golden brown at the edges. The magic of all the spices, the cardamom and the nutmeg and the wonderful hints of saffron come together in this cookie, making it a delightful experience. Do make them, leave me a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.
My name is Anuradha Toshniwal and it is my great pleasure to teach you a wonderful tea time snack, the coffee cake, served with tea or with coffee, and it tastes wonderful. So let's get started. So we have 3/4 cups of brown sugar, 2 eggs, 1 1/4 cup of plain flour, half a cup of butter, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 tablespoons of instant coffee powder, and milk as required because we need the dropping consistency. Today I'm baking my cakes in 2 tins, but for this quantity you need an 8-inch round tin and it comes out perfectly well. Today I'm using a 6-inch round cake tin, but because I'll have some mixture left over, I'm going to use a small ring mold to make the smaller cake. Needless to say that they both have to be greased. Now it's not essential that you use brown sugar. You can use your castor sugar or your white sugar. The brown sugar in the coffee cake or the chocolate cake gives it a richer brown color. That's why I'm using a brown sugar today. So I put it onto my mixing bowl and I'm going to break 2 eggs. We are going to beat it till it's very light and fluffy. So as you can see, our mixture is now light and fluffy, and the light brown color is going to complement our coffee color. Now to this I'm going to add our butter. It is soft room temperature butter, and we're going to beat it again. We gradually add in the flour, 1 tablespoon at a time. Now why I added a little bit of flour to this mixture was because sometimes when you add the butter, the mixture starts curdling. So add your flour, 1 tablespoon, then beat, another tablespoon and beat, and then you can add all the flour together. So I'm going to add all the flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and my coffee. Little milk and beat it again. Add a little more milk. We still need more milk because we need a dropping consistency. So our mixture is ready. Scrape the sides well. Now we still need a little bit more milk. The mixture is still a little bit tight. So we are adding a little bit more milk. In all, we've added half a cup of milk. Now, one thing in this cake is that if you use melted butter, then the milk required is less. But if you use a semi-solid butter, then your milk requirement is more. And our mixture is ready. So we are putting our mixture onto the greased cake tin, spreading it well. I'm going to divide it between the two. And our cake is ready for baking. We will bake our cake at 220 degrees C for about 20 to 25 minutes till a knife inserted comes out clean. So our cakes are ready and smelling very good. We're going to put the knife in and see that it comes out clean. Take one cake and gently pry it from the side so that it doesn't stick. Overturn it and our cake comes out clean. We let it cool. We are going to do a little icing on them. I have with me here about 6 tablespoons of icing sugar and about a tablespoonful of coffee powder. To this I'm going to add very little water. Please be careful while adding water because the icing sugar takes very little water. It's going to get runny. And the only way that you can salvage that is by adding more and more and more icing sugar, which is going to be a waste. So very little water. Mix it well to see if you need more. A little bit more. I would suggest that you drop the water tablespoon by tablespoon rather than how I am doing, because by mistake you may just drop in more water than required. Mix this well. See that there are no lumps left in the icing sugar, and it's a running consistency like that. Let it fall naturally, whichever way it will. And our coffee cake is ready to be served. If you have made this coffee cake 2 days prior and you're serving it to some guests or your family later on, I would suggest that you make a sugar syrup of water and sugar and gently pour it over the cake to keep it moist, and then put the icing over it. Alternatively, you can serve it warm by steaming it and serve it with a dollop of ice cream. So enjoy the coffee cake. Hope you enjoyed seeing this dish as much as I enjoyed making it.
Today I'm in a mood to do something very creative. So we'll be taking a bit of vanilla batter and then a little bit of chocolate batter, mix the two together and come up with a creation that will have people saying, "Oh my God, how did you do that?" Are you excited? Let's get going. So let's start with weighing our dry ingredients. We need 200 grams of regular flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, then just sift it together. Okay. Next, let's take 240 ml of plain milk, room temperature, 1 teaspoon of vinegar, just whisk it. Then we add 200 grams of sugar to this. Okay, just give it a nice stir. Next to this, we add 120 ml of neutral oil. Give it a nice stir. Okay, we are done with this. Then add your dry ingredients in 2 batches and then whisk. Now second batch and whisk again. It should just come together so that there are no lumps. Now we will divide the batter in 2. One will have vanilla and the second one will have cocoa. Now in the first bowl we'll add a little vanilla to taste. Just give it a stir. Alright. In the second one we'll sift in 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Now let's whisk it together. Okay, so our batters are ready and now let's get to the creativity part. So I have this 8-inch round tin. Let's keep it here. It's buttered and flour. So in our buttered tin, we are adding 2 tablespoons of vanilla batter. Then followed by 2 tablespoons of chocolate batter. I know this is a long process, but believe me, the end result is really awesome. And finally, to round it up, a large tablespoon of chocolate. And we are done. This will go for baking at 175 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Now our cake is nicely baked. It's time for it to cool down. Let's keep it aside for just a few minutes. So the cake has cooled down enough for me to demold it. I'm going to loosen the sides with a knife. Alright, I'm done. Now let's demold it and get ready for some action. Again. Now is the best part. Now that you know how to get these beautiful layers, it's time you get baking too. Mention in the comment section below which is your favorite cake. I might just try to bake them for you. Bye. Today I bring for you a very basic cake recipe made with very basic ingredients and it tastes yum. We have 60 ml of melted butter. We'll be adding around 150 grams of condensed milk. Okay, cool. That's it. Then take your whisk and give it a very nice stir for another 5 minutes or something because you want good aeration to happen. Now next we'll be adding some curd, fresh curd that you have at your home, and this is basically for binding and giving it a nice moisture, a nice texture. So here I'll be adding around 75 ml, a little bit of vanilla, around a teaspoon. Now give it another good stir. Alright, now let's start with the dry ingredients. You need a sieve, a nice small one will do. We need around 80 grams of maida. Next we need 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda, around half teaspoon of baking powder. Now all we need to do is just sieve it all inside this. Now we just need to fold all our ingredients together very softly, very gently, because you do not want the aeration to just go. So we have this half kilo mold. You can take a round, you can take a square, whichever it is, your choice. Nicely dusted it with flour and buttered it with nice salty butter. Now I'll be pouring this. Then you need to give it a light tap like this. If you want, you can also use your spatula. You don't need anything extravagant for this. Sorted. Now I'll be baking it at 180 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes. How to demold it? You just need to take one knife and just insert on the sides of it like this. Ensure you're not cutting your cake already, just on the sides. Just loosen it up. That's it. You're done. what you do is take one plate like this, flip it there. Because I'd used this, I need to remove this as well, the bottom part of it. We are done. Now I'm gonna take another plate. This, flip it. You can serve it on its own with a nice layer of cream or chocolate ganache, or you can experiment with your choice of flavors. And while you're doing that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Happy baking!